All right, so welcome everybody to a new episode of the Abundance Podcast. Today we're joined by Seby. Seby is a entrepreneur in the marketing space as of right now, and he specializes in AI marketing actually. So he'll utilize AI to bring customers to its clients' businesses. So let's get straight into it. How are you today, Seby?
I'm living the dream. I'm calling you from the lovely and sunny Miami, and I hear you're in Canada. Is that where you are right now?
Yes, I'm in Canada right now.
Hell yeah! You know, I have only been to Canada once, and I can't wait to go back because everybody says you haven't lived until you've gone to Montreal and you've gone to Quebec and you've gone to Toronto. You haven't lived yet. So I'm trying to live. So whenever you want to shoot that invite over, you have my address.
Yeah, man, Montreal is a lovely city for sure. Toronto as well. They're underground compared to like New York and all these big cities.
And apparently, this is just hearsay. Toronto has the prettiest women in the world.
That's true, man.
Is it?
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was true. I just heard it on a Drake interview, so I thought I'd regurgitate
exactly.
that information.
So yeah, as well. So yeah, why don't you talk a bit about you, your background, and what you're focusing on right now?
Yeah. So what I'm focusing on right now, actually, um, is a little bit different than what we talked about because that's the company. But all companies have a focus, and all companies have, or all good companies have a focus of values and a focus of something that enables a story to be created. Let me explain what that means for the people who use my software. What we instill into any business is not prediction, is not AI. It's all bullshit. What we give to businesses is confidence. Cedric, if I could say, hey, you're a business owner, your whole life is built on uncertainty. Am I going to get customers? Am I going to get laid? Am I going to get yelled at by my customer? Right? These are all questions that entrepreneurs ask. So if we can come in and we can be that layer of certainty that enables you to have the confidence to move forward with rigorous faith. Right? Confidence allows you to move forward, take action. The only thing that exists in this world is action. So in the pursuit of taking action via the car of confidence, what we are doing is giving businesses winning ads, not based on what we think, but what we know is fact of the matter and what works in the space. So I'll just go into it really quick. It's a super simple software to explain, but it's really complicated behind the scene. I actually am not the tech guy, so I couldn't even explain the full scope of what actually is going on under the hood. But above the hood, what you're seeing on the street drive by real loud is this. We're able to say, Cedric, give me one of these e-commerce niches that you're in without divulging too much.
Let's say beauty. That's a big niche.
Beautiful. Okay, beauty. I'll even go deeper. Beauty. We're selling honey or bee lip balm. You ever see those honeycomb
Yeah,
bee lip balms? They take the honeycomb, they put it on their lip. All the hot girls love it. So that's what we're marketing today. Your company's name is Lil B's Big B Rub. And Lil B's Big B Rub needs ads because you've been selling to your mom, your sister, your aunt, your uncle. Everybody loves it. But now the world needs to see this idea, right? If you're bringing an idea to the world, you're not just going to go out there and do it. One, you need confidence. So how we give you confidence is look at other companies. Like let's go look at Burt's Bees. Now Burt's Bees is going to have their top 5 ads, top 10 ads ever on Facebook ad library, on TikTok ad library. What we're doing is reverse engineering those advertisements to fit Lil B's Big B lip balm so that we have a script with the sounds, with the pace of speech, with the keywords, and the pace of intonation, and how to explain things and get excited and present it to them so that before you ever spend money on ads to the degree of your success. And that confidence is what my life mission is about, because confidence has allowed me to do things that building a company that did $1 billion in transactions when I was 19 with an 18-year-old co-founder. Being in that environment made me say, okay, what is the one thing that got us here? And it was blind confidence. You can call it faith. You can call it whatever you want. But that is the catalyst of all growth. Elon doesn't go. Jeff doesn't go. Bill doesn't go. No one goes without confidence. So that's what I'm stressing.
Well, that's awesome. Honestly, it's not a idea that everybody has for sure. So you strictly have like your niche for sure. And did you know about PP ads, the platform PP ads?
PP ads. No. Tell me about PP ads. It's kind of,
Yeah,
I don't.
so PP ads, they basically do what you're doing, if I'm not mistaken. So they'll really take like ads on well, they're primarily for TikTok, but they'll take ads from TikTok and like reverse engineer them to see the metrics, as well as the number of impressions, the number of clicks since they're running. So you can really tell, like, if they're still running for a month and they have like over 1 million impressions, it's like a winning ad. So yeah, I'm wondering if like that's kind of the vibe you're going with for extrovert.
Yeah, I've never heard of PP ads, but it sounds very similar, where you have, it's script focused. The big shift that we love to like have realized and made us love this idea, um, has been this. Right now, you have PP ads might do this. I don't want to say anything about them because I genuinely don't know, but I wrote it down, so I'm going to look into it. But here's the thing: social media platforms used to be social media platforms, right? Social media meaning you're going to see something based on us being friends and me liking it, and then them saying, okay, this person probably likes it. Now they're veering away from that, almost completely away from that. And now we're on interest networks. We're not on social networks, we're on interest networks. So what does Cedric like? What does Seby like? What are the words that I need to hear to stay on this doom scroll? Right? That's the question that all these platforms are asking. So the big shift that we capitalize on is focusing on those words, right? Maybe before you would go to an addressable.io, you would go to a Optimove or a Marketo Engage and go look at these audiences. It'll tell you, oh, this is the audience that you should reach out to. The hell do I need an audience for when nothing is like being shown at an audience level? Right? Audiences is not the best way to go about it. Instead, let me just say the right words, speak to the right person, and have the platform use its AI and its algorithm to do the targeting. We don't, little hack here, we don't do any targeting. None. No audience targeting, no interest targeting, just AI targeting on these platforms. So now we're in a position where we speak to our exact person. So if PP ads is doing that, good on them, because that's the way to do it, right? It's
Yeah.
interest based. Um, Now, my question is, have you seen that shift in your ecom experience?
So that shift of like, yeah, targeting the right people, not necessarily, but definitely displaying the right offer to the people you want, and having the good words. That completely, for myself, I'm only doing broad. So I do not use interests. I do not use keywords, hashtags. I only go broad and let the platform do its thing. It's worked super good for me. For Facebook though, I'm not yet there yet. I'll use interest hashtags, but I'll still have some campaigns that are going broad and compare the results. So I'd say yeah, it's definitely shifting to like the platforms just targeting for you. That's 100% sure.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at their business model, they know best. Like, for example, I love on our pitch deck has a competition slide. And the competition slide is the funniest one of the funniest slides I've ever seen in my life. Because we paint the picture that, think about this. Marketo Engage got purchased by Adobe for $4.5 billion, sir. $4.5 billion. That is so many dollars. It is ridiculous. And that's really important because what they do is genuinely hilarious. They got bought for $4.5 billion, right? While competing with social media platforms. If we just said AI audience selection is the best way to get your video in front of the right person on these platforms, and then you have these geniuses over at Marketo, Engage, and Optimove, and they're saying, we actually know better than the platform itself who's going to buy. Are you kidding me? You expect me to believe that your company that was just spun up from a couple of dudes, probably in a basement or a garage, or some chicks in a basement or a garage or a WeWork, you're going to tell me that you guys have a better algorithm, have a better system, have more data on these people to say that you're better at targeting. So to me, I look at the landscape and it's broken, right? No one can move forward with confidence because, like, think about it. Maybe you have a week of confidence. You sign a 10K contract with Marketo Engage. Now you're locked in. You have a week of confidence. Oh my God, let's get our audience. Let's go. Let's advertise. And then I advertise and I get nothing. And then I split test against AI tracking and it's just getting destroyed in terms of results, the custom audiences. So this is the big shift that I really want people to catch on to because, I mean, at the end of the day, we want more people to build in this space, right? Competition brings up the market cap of the industry. And I'm like the most competitive person that has ever been, right? And I love to see, us going into new and like genuinely new. It's new to us, but it's new to the world. These new avenues that are like so wide, like you said it. It's like I'm split testing with AI versus like me as a marketer, and this AI is beating me. Let's keep using this stuff.
They're really powerful. That's for sure. And so I don't know if you ever marketed on TikTok yet, but they are powerful as well. I mean, honestly, it just doesn't work. Interest hashtags doesn't work on TikTok at all. You need to go broad. It'll catch on within the first $2 to the target, and it's coming in afterwards. So yeah, there's definitely a shift. Now you talked about when talking about your AI agency that when you were 19 or 20, you like built a company like the multi-million dollars. So what's all of that about?
Yeah, so I'll actually show you. This here's me and my co-founder from that endeavor. We're like brothers. One of my best friends forever. We went through this experience, and I'll tell you about this experience. When I was 18, this is when it starts. When I was 18, I graduated high school. Or no, I was 17. I graduated high school. And my mentor, who's actually has a picture over there, he brought me to Austin to go to this. It's a program through Keller Williams. And Keller Williams, the real estate, one of the biggest real estate companies in the world, they have this thing called Quantum Leap Kids Can. And it's where the 18 to 25-year-old audience of like the kids of like the biggest realtors and investors and executives in Keller Williams, the inner circle get to go to this 500-person select event. So when I was 17, they snuck me in. I was underage, but I got in. And it was an experience that just truly told me that I needed to be in real estate, right? And that was like a reinforcement because 2 years prior, I was in high school, right? And I remember I was at a party and I was drinking with my friends. We were having a good time. I was being a little friggin' 16-year-old degenerate, smoking weed in the basement. And I hear people inside saying, Seby, your mom's here. And I'm like, what is going on? My mom's here. What is going on? So I go inside. My mom, my Sicilian mother, sprints down the stairs of this basement that has 100 kids in it, grabs me by the ear, brings me up the stairs, brings me home. She's like, you're done, this and that. Long story short, she was just, doing motherly things, trying to scare me into not being an idiot. But basically, everybody from that party came back to school and they like outed me. I had just moved to this school from a 300-person school to a 3,000-person school. I was like hot shot there for a little bit. And now I lost all my friends. So I'm 16 every day eating lunch in the library alone. I'm sneaking bagels and just stuffing bagels into my mouth in a library, right? Like under my shirt, because I didn't even want to show my face in this arena, because I'm so competitive. I just felt like, okay, when you lose, even when it's out of your control, right? Because the whole thing was I snitched on everybody. Never happened. No one ever got in trouble. No parents ever found out about a party. So it is what it is. Great learning experience. But that was like my first real estate experience where every day I was on Bigger Pockets. And every day I was coming home and talking to my mentor. And every day I was getting closer to a point where I was like, you know what? Fuck all this stuff. I hate having to like rely on like this friend group who really doesn't care about me. And I just want to build something for me that's going to help others so that I can be the source of happiness for others, and others don't have to be the source of my happiness. Right. So in my pursuit of really taking over my life again, we're losing all my friends, my mom losing a ton of respect for me losing a ton of respect for myself because I was doing the wrong things, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, 16 years old. Don't do it. Ruins your brain. So luckily, my mentor really believed in me. Like I would not be where I am without him. His name is Richard Anderson. He owned an inn, and he's been in real estate a while. So he basically forced me to get into real estate. He paid for me to go to that Texas thing. Now coming back to 17-year-old me, he forced me to get into real estate because he saw just like how upset I was and what I wanted to create. And we always went to real estate events. So I'm in Austin, Texas. I get back. I'm like, I'm a realtor now. I go through the course. By the end of that summer, I'm a realtor. And I just sucked as a realtor. I didn't realize like what like a realtor did. It was really, as a realtor is just like, you have relationships and people buy properties that and then you just like facilitate it for them. So I didn't know that. I thought it was like, I have to make this like pitch of like, you're going to make this much money. And it never worked for me. So by giving up on myself, I was like, you know what? I'll stay in real estate. It's what I know I like. I thought I loved it, but it's what I know I like. So I went to this real estate office. And I walk in this real estate office and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a job. I have this experience. I wrote this 55-page paper on a real estate app that allows iBuying and discount listings so that, it can scale for venture capital funding. Because I've always been obsessed with like venture capital fund, like getting funding so that ideas can scale instead of just being like super transactional. So right away, this CEO comes in and I knew him. I'd just seen him 2 weeks ago speak at a real estate conference. And I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. So I'm pumped. I'm on cloud 9, day one. From then, I'm working 14, 16, 18-hour days, but in that office that's 30 minutes away from me. So there were some nights I was just getting like 3 hours of sleep, going right back to the office. 3 hours. For like weeks, I would be doing this kind of stuff. This went on for about 2-3 weeks. And then the CEO saw it. So he turns me into like the office like manager. I'm in the corner office with 6 monitors. I'm 19 years old. I had 2 months before, I just given up on myself entirely. I was just like, I'm a failure. I'm going to go work for someone else so that maybe I can learn how things get done. So as I started working for him, he gave me this really amazing opportunity. I was meeting every day with the people who made the MLS. So the people who brought real estate from being like a book that everyone bought every week or so to digital. So everyone can see all the real estate at once. I met the person who did that. I met the person who made like the corporate relocation for all of Coldwell Banker and basically the whole country corporate offices relocation. And then the biggest one was the guy who was the CFO of Abu Dhabi. So I say that because I gave up on myself. This person believed in me. I got this amazing learning experience. He showed me not only these people, but how to do deals, how to make real estate deals happen. So now is where we talk about this company. After 6 months there, me being endlessly grateful for, my mentor's help, my CEO's help, and just everyone involved, I really just looked at myself and I was like, if I know all this, I'm wasting my time not becoming something for myself. I believe in myself again, right? So I always tell him, he gave me the kickstart that I needed for me. Maybe I kickstarted to help the business in some sort of way, but really he helped me become me again. So with that, me and my co-founder, we were like, okay, let's go do some deals. So we're going to do real estate deals and sell real estate and help people buy real estate. Everything real estate, we were going to do it. And the issue was no one trusted an 18-year-old and 19-year-old with their largest investment. So what happens? What happens is I go pay $1,000 to some guy in Bulgaria, and he makes this like Excel spreadsheet like scraper with, and here's how we got all the data to start. So we knew we needed to test an idea. We said, no one wants to work with us. Why don't we try to find like super specific data points on people? So like we didn't have to go and call the same people everyone else was calling, right? Because if there's any competition, we're going to lose. That was our mindset. So in the name of not competing, we made this thing that was looking at sellers, people who sold their house for say 40 to 60% of its real value fixed up. We're like, okay, investors want these properties. They will always buy this deal. If we can find this, we can always have a deal. In our pursuit of doing it, our first test was massively successful. I took a $10,000 loan to make this whole company possible from a friend at 40% in 3 months. So I take that 10K in 90 days, in that 3 months, I turn it into 100K. I pay him back the 14. I've now got 86K. Now I take that 86K and I go start talking about it on social media. 50 days, 50 million views. This is my co-founder's probably more to note on that. He's the one to credit on that, rather. Phenomenal content creation. He also looks like he's 12. So being able to say, hey, I just made $100,000 this month and I've been in real estate 3 months, because that was true. I was like, hey, dude, I just need your help. Just come in. He'd like just been trying to learn about real estate. So that got us like so much attention. People were like sending us money unsolicited to give this type of system to them, because they're like, wait, if these idiots can figure it out, we got this on lock. Now, what happened after that was just a blow up. Businesses found out about it. People started referring business. We started advertising. It was instantly profitable. We did 25K in pre-orders before all of that. So having that experience of seeing, okay, you come up with an idea, you make it, like seeing that business flow of how an idea gets presented to the world and is wanted by the world at a scale, not scale, but at a scale. That was amazing learning experience. And that's probably something to take away. All the entrepreneurs watching this, take away that process, right? Even like I said, like the confidence, so that you have the ability to move forward. Nonetheless, when we built the software, we didn't really think much of it, but we had some days where we'd get a text from a kid or a call from a kid, like crying, like in tears. I just signed up for your software. I just want to say thank you so much. I just made $250,000. 19-year-old kid in California, 250K in a month. The kid was working for like $12 an hour before that. So that entire experience was amazing. Now, let me tell you the best part about the entire experience. The best part about the entire experience goes more into an idea of me, like who I am. I'm not really here for money. I want to know that when I leave, countries cry. Right? We recently saw the Queen passed away. They've never in my life, since Michael Jackson, seen countries cry when someone passes. And I think that's a really beautiful way of saying, I want to deliver so much impact on this world that outcome is a reality. So the part that's the best in this whole story is, in that time, to make those deals happen, we had to provide virtual assistants, VAs in the Philippines, to make these calls. So to provide a lifestyle, to provide, maybe it's not, people in the US, I'm not a massive company, but to the scale of a 19-year-old kid being able to provide for 150 families across the world, and have them send messages. Oh my God, without you, I wouldn't have a car. This month we got a house because we have, this opportunity. Like some days, like I would have to like stop working because I would just like get choked up because like these, like you're changing people's lives. Like you're making, not only are you making people money, who cares? Money is printed, but like joy is like this divine thing, that you can't put a price tag on. This like confidence in yourself, or giving people confidence in themselves is this invaluable thing. So that's the full story from going from a fuck up kid at 16 who lost all of his friends to super dedicated to get himself back, to losing himself again, to being found by someone else helping me get that confidence back to me, to then making the software company and hoping to do this for more people. Now the goal is, okay, this predictive analytics thing is effing powerful. How do I put it into the hands of you? How do I put it into the hands of Alex? How do I put it into the hands of Roger? How does everybody have this thing for like $250 a month instead of the massive numbers that we have to charge now, so that we can actually make it make sense before we have a software version?
So, how much are you charging right now for your software extrovert?
So right now we charge 5K. It's
Okay.
5K. We guarantee 10K in revenue. How that works is we do all the content creation. We do ideation, planning, creation, posting as ads. We create all the copy. We also give an automated CRM. So once these leads get generated, they go to an auto CRM that's booking them with AI on an appointment for an appointment to speak. Or if it's e-com, right, they're messaging them, asking them questions about what they think about the product, and then continuing a conversation from there. That's the done for you, right? Advertising, do it yourself software. And then we do bi-weekly meetings and then weekly group calls. So people can come in every week, join a group call, or bi-weekly, I do one-on-ones. So we come in there. That's more of like the tracking fractional CMO, CSO type, role for these companies. But yeah, so far, it's been tremendous. We've been working with a lot of software companies, masterminds and events, and like location-based um, uh, businesses, and then supplements. So like even like the lip balm type things, and elderberries and CBD and fake Adderall, all of it. So yeah, that's the focus right now.
So, basically, right now it's more of like an agency with certainly a software. Like the AI will do its thing, but your plan is just like straight up to have it as a software so that a lot of people can access it. If that's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So really, like I said, the mission is instilling that confidence into businesses. So we see ourselves. The company is called Extrovert for a reason. Who are the extroverts? The ones with confidence, right? The ones with confidence to go out there and be like, maybe if it's false confidence, who cares? But they have that faith in themselves to move forward. So the big part of this whole entire endeavor is make a company that maybe doesn't just stop at ads. What if we can predict, the best place for you to rent? And what if we can predict, the chances of a shipment going bad across 10,000 shipments? What if we can predict outcomes in the legal system, and instead of investing after Nancy Pelosi, you invest before Nancy Pelosi, right? So I do think that this company is a quantum computing play in the long term. In the short term, it's about getting the people with the loudest mouth to be the happiest so that they can speak with that loud mouth. Because if we go to businesses, and if we go to companies, and if we go to marketing agencies and creators and people with all this reach, right? Even if we make it so that when we do their ads, we say powered by extrovert AI, right? That the amount of eyeballs that could get us is massive, right? Have people go on podcasts and say, "Oh, I just use this platform, extrovert AI," right? Because we know we're not going to hit the scale by just advertising, discovery call, proposal call, sale. right? I hope that answers your question.
Sorry.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, this certainly answered my question. Um, Now I'm really wondering, like, your pivotal moment in your whole life, to like get started with everything. And I have an idea that it might be when like you were caught at the party and you were like, okay, I need to start working on myself. So is that your pivotal moment?
It was the third pivotal moment, really.
Okay.
The first one was when I was 8. When I was 8, I remember just like going to my grandparents' house. Like my mom was like, I don't know, going on vacation with my dad or something. So we all go to my grandparents' house. They ship us away. We're in New York, and my grandfather, he's a builder. He works in construction in Brooklyn. He's one of the guys that basically built Red Hook. So he's like, Sebastiano, oh, come to work with me. Come to work with me. I go to work with my grandfather. I didn't know any. I'm 8. Right? I didn't even know what, left from right. So long story short, I open a door. I'm in this like trailer thing. I don't realize that I'm 40 feet up in the air. I open this door to nothing. And I am about to fall 40 feet and die as an 8-year-old on a construction site. And my like grandpa grabs me, saves my life. This just like when you ever do those like nasal sprays that like open up your entire like sinus sinus situation? It was
Yeah.
like one of those like when you just eat a bunch of wasabi and you're like, oh, it was like that. Like I was just like I didn't even know what to do, and it made me like really aware. So I started asking questions. I was like super attentive at this point, and maybe that happened for a reason because I started asking my grandpa, "What's going on here?" So he explains, "Oh, me and your uncle, we build a house, many house." He's super Sicilian off the boat. I find out they build houses, like everything that's going on, these massive structures going up, these tens of people, hundreds of people that I see in a week working for them. And I'm like, wait, so this is how, there's a Ferrari? This is how there's a house in the Hamptons? Like, this is how you guys have a penthouse and like all these things? And he's like, yeah. So he goes and explains it. And I start thinking, I'm like, I can literally rule the world. If my family, if my blood can come from a boat, it's really a plane, right? Come off of a plane into a foreign place with a couple $100 and turn into like a multi-million-dollar fortune in real estate. And the beauty of I'm like just disconnected from it, right? Because that's my uncle, my grandfather, right? My mom and my dad are not, they don't get a piece of the pie really. So we had like this, I had this immense like view of like what's possible, but I was super humbled and I had to work super hard because my dad was a project-based engineer, losing his job every 3-5 years. Since I've been born, the guy's lost his job nine or so times, right? And that's just the nature of his work. But it's a very inconsistent lifestyle. You're up a few years, you're buying shirts like this, and then the next year you're buying hats like friggin' this. So, things change, and that was the first moment. I was learning that, seeing that whole dynamic. Because when you're 8 and you realize it, you start seeing everything differently. Then when I was 13, say my grandfather gave me $250. I ended up turning into $3,000 by flipping sneakers. And I ended my sneaker business by buying out this English sneaker company. And they were like just getting rid of their remaining stock. I got their last like 35, 40 pair. And they sold me for like $3,000. It was everything I had. I gave them $3,000. They sent me like 30, 40 pair of shoes. I sell half of them, break even. I keep half of them. I'm dripped out in school, right? Talk about confidence. Walking in school every day with a new pair of Jordans. Come on. So that just kind of like snowball effect, like, oh, cool stuff, awesome guy. Everybody's, I joke around with everybody. So then the third would have to be that moment. It would be like a tie between like me getting caught and losing my friends up until like me realizing that somebody believed in me, right? Like I said, it always goes back to confidence, because what is going to be that driver, not motivation, and motivation's not that great. but drive, this like innate, inherent drive, uh, is the goal. And those would be like the three type of situations that really propelled me.
Exactly, and I can see like the sort of path that basically you ditch your friends at the end of the day. You know, you went like to do your own things, and I honestly think like it's a must if you want to become someone great and fast. You know, make it fast. Um, so I can see like this path that's basically what what um what happened to you. You know, you just ditch your friends when you lost everything, and you realize it's not worth uh like what I can build. You know, so that's awesome. And so, do you have any other projects as well planned ahead of you after extrovert?
Yes.
Okay.
I have two. Well, one I'm helping on, and one I am going to build with the
Okay.
person I'm helping. So my ex co-founder, he went back to Lehigh University. Funny enough, we made like $1 million. This kid goes back to friggin' Lehigh University, be a full time student again. Um, so as he graduates next year, he's been building this amazing idea. It's called Baseline, and Baseline is where I think about all the homeowners in the US that are up to their gills in credit card debt. They have shit credit, right? They can't afford a minimum payment on a new type of loan, but but they have a house that has equity, right? And more importantly, they have land in that house dynamic that has equity and is free and clear. So what Chris's project is doing is he's creating a fund, and he's getting investor funds to then buy liens or pay homeowners to put a lien on their property so that they don't have to make any payments for 3, 5 years, right? And they just pay when they sell the house. So it never really comes out of their pocket in terms of like, you know, like we only get paid. They only pay when the closing happens. Right? It's called a HUD-1 form. So we get on that form as someone who needs to be satisfied to make that transaction complete and have a clear title for transfer. And yeah, it's basically a guaranteed return because you're buying the land. Like the land's not going to burn down, right? And it gives people that leeway. So that's a really cool idea that, working through ideating with Chris, he's working with the University of Lehigh. So he's done a phenomenal job building relationships there and just great progress, right? It's been going on for pivoting for like a year, but I'm just super happy with it. And then the second thing is a space company. It's like the only thing I can think about. I just want to build a space company, not like a rocket company, right? Not like SpaceX or Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic or whatever. There's a lot that goes into space. There's a lot that goes into these next methods of life. So hopefully, the thing that people can take away from me saying what I'm excited to build next is that look at the world the way that Dale Carnegie would. Look at the world the way that the Vanderbilts did, the friggin' anyone who's big, Bezos, right? Bezos's valedictorian speech was about how he knew that the world itself had limited resources and is a beautiful place that should be preserved, and that we should move life, right? And I say these things because as entrepreneurs, you can get really into the day-to-day mix of things. But when you zoom out and you give yourself that liberty to zoom out and say, where is society going? Where are human beings going? Right? We know that by 2040, we're going to have hella humanoids. There's going to be Neuralinks. There's going to be friggin' eye contacts. There's going to be, we're going to be like part computer, part human. I don't subscribe to the whole thing. I think it's the devil, but that's just me. And, I see these things and I'm like, okay, society is shifting. That's where opportunity lives, right? So That's why I think of space, because space seems to be the one thing that we haven't accomplished yet that hasn't also been taken over, right? You ever heard of the or the Forbidden Kings complex? Every boy is born a forbidden king.
Never know.
Okay, some people think about life this way. It's really like the entrepreneurial types, more competitive people. So hopefully your audience is going to be a little more receptive than the church group that I explained this to. But essentially, the Forbidden King complex is where you're born. Dude, every single person that was alive before you had a head start. You were born into this kingdom that you did not have the control, the say, the anything, right? Because you were born with this divinity, this amazing, this miracle of life, and you feel it. You should feel it. When you're a child, you do feel it because you're very sensitive. And even when you're older, you can get those senses. But the issue comes from being able to look at the world at a bigger level so you can avoid like getting caught up. Like getting caught up, I don't know if you've ever seen the video. Bill Gates has a video of like him. It's like I think it's from Inside Bill's Brain, and he is driving around, and the guy's in the back seat with him, the like reporter guy, and they're driving around. I think it's like London or something. They're driving around a town, right? And he's like, you can really see all the humans. They're making judgment calls. They're busy making judgment calls. What does that mean? A judgment call takes you away from that divinity, that mass scale, that you are the king of this castle, but just no one believes you. But you feel it, right? So if you feel it, but you can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't say it, it's like this complex that you just can't get rid of. And that is something that, I do struggle with. Last night was a rough night for me because, I'm sitting here thinking all these people have a huge head start. Everybody's going to have those moments. But for us, the strongest people are the ones that can rationalize back to, and even feel back, right? Use their emotions to actually just rationalize via emotion even. That's very powerful. So that we can move forward, not feel that we're forbidden from anything. Because really, it's all of our kingdom. It's a shared kingdom, right? So having those issues, seeing that mindset shift, and then seeing the solution gives confidence now. So I hope that's a very long-winded way about the thing that I wanted to talk about, which is the Forbidden King complex.
Yeah, no, that's completely true. When you're born, you're definitely disadvantaged compared to the ones that have did what you want to do or whatever. Let's say for e-commerce, if I was born like earlier, let's say and I could have started e-commerce around 2016, 2017. Honestly, things would have been easier than right now. It's really competitive. So talking about that, you also did e-commerce. So why don't you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So if you ever saw those ads that weren't from Pura Vida, but they were selling wave rings, it was probably one of my stores. If you ever
Okay.
saw an ad with those night lights and they have like the black base, like the round base, and then they have like a piece of plastic sticking out with a light. So like
Yeah.
it reflects off of that piece of plastic on the base and it like looks like a Pikachu or like a globe. Right. So I had those two stores. Basically, I didn't do any ads for I technically advertisement through influencers, but I never did like media buying on Facebook, or TikTok wasn't even around, or anywhere, Twitter, anywhere. So what I did was I just went to meme pages and I did free plus shipping, free plus shipping, free plus shipping. Right. And I was just charging, I was saying that I was like this Italian company, right? So like because everybody was in the US market saying that they were in the US and then trying to convince people that it's $10 for shipping. But what I could do is charge $10 for shipping plus international shipping tax, plus like all these like other fees. But because it was branded as like this Italian thing, it's like, whoa, it worked, right? People could justify that cost. So we did it for the rings. I ended up doing it for then watches. Now I remember I did for watches to start. Then I moved to the rings. But yeah, it's just like the learning lessons there actually probably the best ones. It's like, how do you get someone to believe you? How do you get someone to like trust you and buy a thing? How do you get someone to put down their guard enough to trust you? And then you have to take that massive responsibility and you have to deliver on it. Because if you don't, you're shit human, right? If someone trusts you and you screw them over, you are a bad person. That is just how it goes, right? So I hope that makes some sense.
This makes some sense. So basically, you were doing get your item for free but pay shipping. Okay, this was ran by like everyone at this time. Today I see it rarely. I just what I see mostly is get the price for an amazing deal, but pay shipping. But yeah, all the tactics have changed. Really, it continues to grow, and now right now is really need something branded, different. You got to move different. You got to move as a brand, or else like these old shitty dropshipping site in like 2015 doesn't work anymore. And so yeah, you basically ride the wave of influencer marketing. I know like it was. I saw the ads myself when I was a kid. I didn't even know about dropshipping, and like I wanted to buy these stuff. Um, to this day, I realize. So yeah, and so you had three stores. So you went big in it, and did this. Why did you stop e-commerce?
I stopped e-commerce. Um, I've actually never done anything because of this. And I never thought it actually, I've always thought about people who say this sentence as complete idiots. But basically, I stopped it because I just got too caught up in having a girlfriend. I
Nah.
was
Okay.
16. I was 16, 17, and I'd moved to that school, right, for like that. I was doing this. Yes, I was 16 doing this. I was doing it in like, so I was January to that fall when I went to that new school. So I spent January to June in the small school, 300 people. September to basically June, but September to December, I was in that like friend group, all cool people. We were partying every weekend at someone else's house. Great stuff. I was just too caught up in that. Right. So thank God, thank everything positive that that happened to me. Because now I see all these guys at the bar and they come up to me and they're like, it's so great to see how much you've done. Some people like that. Other people come up, why do you always look so serious? Chill out, calm down. What else? Dude, so like I can do the same thing, right? Like so you just see all these like different people come up from the woodworks. The funniest one is like when people think like money equates to women, right? Even when you blow up, like I blew up at 19, I'm still living in my town. Guys, men, nobody gives a fuck about what you have. It is about how you present what you have, right? I could go and give you the same information over this podcast, but if I didn't tell you the deep stories of me, and if I didn't explain them with my tonality, with my hands, with my eyes, with my ears, even moving up and down, you wouldn't get it, right? It wouldn't be the same thing. So no one cares about your money besides men, right? So it goes back to like the whole thing where I see like people flex in certain settings and they don't even know it's gay, but it is. Nothing wrong with it. But like you have like these like super alpha males that are like literally existing to impress other men, right? So I don't like to look at things of like, oh, I'm going to be successful. People are just going to hear from. I like to look at the whole situation, learn as much as I can. I didn't know these things. I didn't know people acted like that when, you know, when I started this. I thought I was going to do this and I was just going to be so cool. Everyone's going to love me. No one gives a shit. And anyone who gives a shit is jealous. They want to take you down. So play the game of chess, right? Send them in the wrong direction. Tell them to go advertise in Dubai. Put them on a wild goose chase. You know, have them not buy your ad spend, right? Have the, play the game, play the game. So I say that in a long-winded way that, I really had a lot of these high hopes, a lot of these things happen. I went big, right? I did all this stuff. And the thing that I wanted the most was just like to have friends again. It's like all I wanted, but nobody wanted to be my friend. I was just seen as like this like thing, because like I left that school. It was like a complete, like, it's more of like your life. So like, I hope that what I can give to people in this, and especially the people who made it this far, because this is the real good shit. Hopefully you've been seeing, I've been opening up about me and like the real things that make me tick towards the end of this. Nonetheless, help the people who have this drive get more drive through understanding their sources of confidence. And then also understand and meta learn about yourself. Why are you doing what you do? Who are you doing it for? What are you doing? How do you do it? Everything you do should be broken down. Nothing that anyone should do should be unconscious, because unconscious is the demonic side of confidence, because consciousness breeds confidence. Unconsciousness is just shit. So yeah, the big things from me, at least, that I want everybody to know is find your source of confidence, grab it, squeeze it, learn everything about it, and then find how you can replicate that. Because the second you can get that source, right? What's the best? What was it? The 8th or the 9th wonder of the world? You have action, compound action, right? People say compound interest, but it's really compound action. But how do you compound action? When you consistently. How do you get consistent? Confidence. How do you get confidence? The truth, looking at things, questioning things. So yeah, that's the longest probably response I'm giving you today, but yeah.
No worries. I mean, I was gonna ask you if you had like an advice to give to the audience, all the entrepreneurs looking at this, watching this, and you pretty much did it right there. So that's awesome. Now, do you have something you want to talk about? Something you want to throw to this audience before we end on the podcast? So like maybe on your company or whatever, you can throw something out there. Go for it.
So if you are a company that actually wants to do more business in a better way and doesn't want to just like pay someone else to do the same things you're doing, right? You want to actually have a different experience that gives you different outcomes as a business with someone who's going to have conversations with you like this every other week. You can find us on social media all over. It's Extrovert AI, one word. You can find us at extrovert.app, extrovert.ai. Really, anything you type in with extrovert, you're going to get us. Reach out, book a call with us. Love to help you get as many possible customers as you can, and then grow that system. Give you the content creators, give you the brand, give you the sales, make it a business that you can be proud of, with the same principles that I use to make these confidence situations, to make these healthy dynamics in my life where the people I've worked with and I still love, they still love me. My family went from not liking me to loving me, right? It's always about improvement. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. You're not going to sit here and tell me you're perfect, but we're going to sit here together and say, hey, we're going to work really hard, right? Me and Cedric, even if we're going to work together, we're going to work super hard. And we can't promise that we're perfect. No one can. But we can promise that we're going to show up with confidence, with joy, with a smile, with excitement. We're going to be contagious. So if you like those things, give me a ring-a-ding-ding, and let's do it. It as in ads. Don't take that the wrong way.
Good. Well, that was awesome. Shirley, nice to meet you. That was an insane podcast. So everyone, we're going to see you guys next week, maybe this week again. So have a wonderful day, everyone.
Peace.